I've got a certain reality of, a certain idea of how the reality should be. So it should be like that, it should be like, and then of course life will put me in a situation where it's not like that at all. And through the emotions, when I satisfy the desire, at one point I understand that I'm full. There's a kind of fullness which lasts for a split of a second. The problem is that I do think that my happiness in the object of desire. Okay, and then I shift from one object of desire to the other. It's endless. So one school says, okay, suppress all the desires. You renounce the word. It's not my cup of tea. I do think the energy of desire is very important, expressing itself in all the desire that we are encounter, understanding that all these desires are the expression of one desire for fullness. Yes, but you see, the final acceptance is to accept that sometimes I can't accept. So the acceptance, if we go further in the acceptance of what is, the what is that sometimes I can't accept. So I accept that I can't accept, because it's too much for me. I still don't love myself. I still somewhere, I've not understood that, you see, this amazing makeup, I've not still fully understood that this makeup, this Christian, is the expression of the love of consciousness for itself. You see, I've not understood that. Do my statement, I still don't love myself. And since I don't love myself.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Awareness Club podcast. In this episode today, my guest was practicing for 52 years the art of yoga and also combining it with non-duality into understanding what consciousness is and embodying it through asana. He arrives at a point where destructuring information is a maturity of evolution. I'm having with me Pisano.
Nice to meet you, yes.
Thank you very much for being here. And I think for me it's an honor to meet a person that was going through life into one practice and one direction of understanding who am I and the definition of consciousness itself.
Anyway, thank you to invite me.
I would like to start with your beginnings. How did you enter or discover yoga?
Well, really, you don't discover it, It's maybe the other way around. And it comes from as long as, for me, it comes from a complete insatisfaction.
Insatisfaction?
Complete insatisfaction. And also that, the feeling that we all share, that something is lacking.
But you were feeling a sense of lacking when you were 16?
Absolutely, of course.
It is not the teenage years of discovery, of being a rebel?
I think we all feel this sense of lack, isn't it? It doesn't matter the age. Like sometimes the lack, when you're a child. Well, it depends the parents you are, the lack of the emotional response from your parents.
So you consider that you attracted yoga in your life as a compensation for childhood trauma?
Yeah, of course, it could be, It could be that, okay, this feeling of lack pushed me in some directions. And this direction took the form of yoga. Yeah. But it's true.
Why did it inspire you?
Well, at the beginning, it was not really an inspiration, it was an urge. An urge, and also, so the thing is that, you see, there's these two facets. One urge, because you feel completely unsatisfied by what, at least in my case, the the family convention, what the family offers you, what the society offers you, somewhere you are not happy with that. So there's an urge. And then there's something deeper in you that you feel that what you see is such somewhere a show. Of course, now I express it that way now, but when I was 16, it was a bit different. But anyway, the feeling, the thing inside you that, which is, it's a gut's feeling, you know what I mean?
It's also instinct or intuition, no?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So you were also searching the feeling of belonging?
Completely. Belonging, yeah. Belonging and being loved. Somewhere. Which at that time, I could not express it that way. But it was absolutely there. Yeah. The feeling of being recognized and loved, yes. Belonging, yeah.
So you went to India to search for Yagnar, and you didn't even know where to search.
Yeah, but see, India for me was, India was, okay, the land of, in Sanskrit, India is called Bharata. Bharata. The etymology means that, the land of people who were eager to find light. So for me, that was India was that, they spend their time, millennium of searching for I would say, the source of life and what we are. So that's what attracted me to India. See, my first trip, I was quite young. I went in Darjeeling to a Buddhist monastery, because in those days I was interested not only in yoga, but also in Tibetan Buddhism. But the thing is that I arrived in monsoon in Calcutta. And then my romanticism about India was, because, when you're young, you have decided you go there, you're going to find a guru and blah, 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 blah. So it was quite a sharp, very sharp encounter, very strong encounter with India. Wild encounter with India.
It was like a school for you?
It's more than a school. It's like, it's a mirror of what you with your fear, your attachment, and something also, something deeper. There's something really beautiful in that country. I don't know how to explain it. Like in that amazing chaos, there's a kind of peace there.
But it has a deep roughness of it.
Deep roughness.
It's raw.
All right, absolutely.
It's nothing polished from how they live to how they eat to the society at large.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So do you think? So you remain attracted to India?
Yeah, but in a very different way. And now it's been many years that I didn't go back there. And I don't even know if I will go back there. I don't even know, for some reasons. But I'm deeply attached to the inner India, which we are all searching for our inner India somewhere, which is not, which doesn't have a geographic position. But it's a beautiful country where still the deep tradition of the Sanatana Dharma, which is, this search for what we are, what we deeply are. That's fascinating.
So how did you find Yagnar?
Well, the thing is that when I started yoga, I'd find the book Light on Yoga. Light on Yoga, you see what I mean? And then I started to practice with that book, Light on Yoga. I started with a teacher in my suburb, which was not Iyengar at all. And then I found Light on Yoga, and I was fascinated with the book. And I started to practice with it, not knowing who was the guy, if he was still alive or whatever. So it's in my third trip that I met him. So my third trip to India, I was not going to India to meet Mr. Iyengar.
No.
It was not. And I found out that when I was, there's a little town called Lonavala near Pune, because I was studying there, and I found out that Mr. Iyengar was teaching in Pune. So I went there. So I said, well, I didn't straight away meet him. I went through the secretary, and he said, listen, you didn't reserve, blah, 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 we can't accept you. So the first thing was, no, you can't. Forget about it. Then I wrote him a letter. I wrote him a letter of pictures of my, when I think about it, it was quite pictures of my asanas.
Uh-huh.
And he said, okay, come. He said, he wrote to me, answered me, because I said, well, I really want to study with you. And he said, okay, come. And I stayed 4 years.
How did you arrive from this point to being one of the 3 people in the world that has the highest degree in Yagna Yoga, which is the advanced senior?
We have to mention that.
It's just a passage.
Yeah.
It's not the title. We're not speaking here to inflate the ego, but it's a passage that you did, and it's part of your story.
Yeah. Well, when you do what you have to do. You study, and once again, being the way I am, which is, I've got a kind of addict profile. What I do, it's whatever. It's in a very addictive way, obsessional way. So I do the practice in an obsessional way, And you spend, months, years practicing, being there and doing years after years. And you see, for me, when you mentioned that, as I told you that before, it's more the story. It's more the mirror of my insecurity. And I want to insist on that. The degree I've got, which is for me that, okay, I have a lot of gratitude for my teacher, of course, but you see, it's more the mirror of my insecurity.
Shouldn't be also an acceptance?
Yeah, but the want to be accepted, which somewhere you ask somebody else something that you can't give it to yourself. Do you understand what I mean?
You cannot give it to yourself?
No, not yet. Not yet. It is the full acceptance of oneself, the radical acceptance of one's own process. I would say that for the time being, it's very difficult sometimes on a daily basis to be Christian. But I know, I intuit that Christian is the expression of the ground of awareness. This is just a makeup. Sometimes I completely identify with the makeup, with whatever it implies. And sometimes I intuit that this is the expression of the ground of awareness. And to go back to what you said before, yeah, you spend years with your teachers and in apprenticeships, and that's it.
How this contradicts, or how this came in contrast with following your intuition to discover your own self? Because you're part of the system for so many years.
Yeah.
What is this? What is the balance between your own intuition and going into the same system?
Well, the thing is that, the situation are expressing your desires. You see? And all your desires are somewhere the expression of one's desire. A desire of fullness, desire of quietness, frankly, desire of at least now I can rest. You see? And so this desire expresses itself in many desires that the expression of one desire, whatever you do. So for me, it expressed first to be recognized in a system, you know. But even if you are recognized in the system, it's not enough. You are never fully recognized anyway, because it's such a struggle. You always have to struggle. When I say, I mean, in a hierarchical system, you always have to struggle. Always.
So
You always have to prove something. It's very tiring.
the antidote to that is not to be in a system.
Well, you can't accept. You can't accept the systems. You can also create your own system, which is another system. But I understand what you mean. Yeah.
In the end, it's self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Because in a system, you are searching for validation outside of you.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You are searching for validation out of you. Yes.
So when you give that aside,
Yes.
the system doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. Whatever the system is. Yeah.
This is one side. The other side is non-duality.
Yes.
How would you explain to somebody non-duality?
First, we can start by the feeling of existing. One knows that one is existing. And this feeling of existence comes from the ground of awareness. This ground of awareness takes the expression, when you say non-duality, it doesn't mean that the absence of diversities. So the ground of awareness, which from this ground of awareness, I know that as Christian, I'm existing. And this ground of awareness takes the expression of whatever I perceive. See, whatever I perceive, like, okay, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm tall, I'm short, I see, I touch, I feel, I inhale, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. I know that I'm existing in the deep sleep, in the form of absence. See, through all these states, you have the I amness. And whatever I perceive from this feeling of I am, and from the ground of awareness. And first, I think it's good to start by try to question and understanding what we are true, what we are not.
So what are we?
But that's the thing, we never know. We will never know that. So even I say, okay, ultimately we are the ground of awareness, ultimately. But that's a narration. See, we perceive what we are through what we are not. So we go through whatever we have to go through to understand that, okay, this body is going to go. All my experiences are going to go. Whatever I experience, that live, all the situation, even the closest people to me are going to go. All this is going to go. Is there something left? See, outside, do I exist outside this makeup? And how do I feel? How do I feel that I am Christian? Because it's a feeling. The body is a feeling. I say you can trace back that feeling through the ground of awareness.
If we eliminate everything that we are, we come back to the first cognition of I am.
Yeah, the thing is that you can see both sides. See, whatever I see, whatever I perceive, I am that, but also I'm not that. So that's the play of consciousness. And the play of consciousness expressing itself in a form, so I am that form, but somewhere I'm not that form either. Because I need that form to play the game I have to play. I need that form to play the game Christian has to play to his own drama.
So then my question is, after Christian leaves this body, it returns back to consciousness itself as the sea itself of consciousness, or it still maintains some particularities of Christian?
Well, I've got a narrative about that, but frankly, I don't know. I don't know. I think Christian is when the time will come, Christian is gone. That's it.
Because Christian is actually the characteristics
Yeah.
of the embodiment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But frankly, I don't know. See, not me, I don't know. But I see, there's a kind of frame when I say I don't know. See, I don't know, and somewhere I don't know. I don't care.
You don't
See,
care?
when you ask me this question, see, I could speak about the narrative, which is okay. See, this is a makeup. When the makeup is gone, just what remains is the expansion of consciousness, which fundamentally we are. That's a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's like, you see, the thing is that in this kind of in the spiritual business, we can come with very skillful politician, you know what I mean, who would never answer to the question. It's like, okay, if a guy in the street say to me, where is that street? I don't have any problem say I don't know. But when you put that question, say, I have somewhere to embark into a lot of concept to hide the fact that I don't know.
This is very humble, and this is actually what I think is the honest perspective on positioning towards this type of questions. But in the end, the whole life we are searching for our own identity of who I am. So who I am is defined by what I am made of. And we are speaking now about consciousness itself, that we are consciousness itself observing itself or manifesting itself.
Yes.
And this is already a starting point into at least identifying a structure that we can put our hands on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, it's like we are looking for our identity. The thing is that to understand the RNA, we have to lose it. See, because Christian is just an event in space and time. Is it my real identity? Is it? And then this identity, the personality comes from Latin, persona. It's just a mask.
This is why I was asking you, because if this is not our identity, let's say is not, but then when we leave this body, if we are going back to consciousness itself, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
because if you don't place it here as identity, there it will not be anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But once again, you see, the thing is that, once again, I need this identity. I need it. Well, somewhere my consciousness need that to play the game I have to play in that particular space and time.
And then the question will be, why do we play this game?
Yeah, exactly. Why do we play the game? Because consciousness is creative. Because you could say, yeah, why consciousness doesn't stay in a blissful state forever, which is no space, no time. Amazing. Why we don't? Because I think the creativity of consciousness expresses itself in all the universe and all the situation, experiences itself through billions of channels. See, that's it. It's much more interesting than somewhere staying in a blissful state forever. It's like, okay, if you can have lucid dream, which is the capacity of the brain. Just imagine every night you have a lucid dream. So at the beginning you are going to fulfill all your desires, all of them. Whatever the desire, you are going to fulfill them. You want to be a horse, you want to be whatever, and at the point you are going to create all situations. Be a rich man, a king, die under a bridge like a homeless guy, all kind of death. So you are going to spend the expansion of time. In one night you are going to live 1,000 years, but at the end it's not going to be enough. because you know that you are dreaming. You know it's a dream. So what you're going to do, you are going to limit yourself. You're going to limit yourself to believe in the reality of the dream. That starts to be interesting.
So the reality itself, it's a projection of our consciousness?
It's not a projection, it appears in consciousness.
Appears.
It appears. It's not really a projection, it appears in consciousness. And because the creativity of consciousness appears in the expression of in the manifestation of life.
I was saying this because we all have a personal truth, which can differ from the collective truth.
Yes.
And we are also attracting in our life events, people, and situations in order to correspond with our path.
Yeah.
So consider this, we are all projecting a reality that meets in the middle all the rest realities into consolidating into a physical world.
Yeah, we all have a narration of reality, absolutely. And the narration of reality expresses itself in the way we see ourselves and whatever we perceive, yes.
So during our life, we are constructing and living our life with this mechanism of evolution, let's say. Evolution of and development of our brain, of our understanding, of our life events, and so on. What would you say your story is about?
My story is about. So when you ask me this question, what's my story about? It's a story of a deep nostalgia. Something, a nostalgia of something I don't even know, but a deep longing. That's the story. That's what my story is about.
Is that longing that we were discussing before the podcast, that the soul, when enters to the limited body, it forgets the wholeness, and then all the life is searching in different practices, substances, and people in order to be whole again?
Yes. But you see, it's a longing for something I don't even know what I'm longing for. But it's also this, you see, this fullness that you're talking about. We never lose it. But you see, the thing is that the story is to recognize somewhere that this fullness has never been lost. And the story is just a story in this amazing play of consciousness, where I recognize myself, at the end of the show, it was just a show. And when I look back, did it really happen? Did it really happen? What allows me to understand my process is not a process. See, what allows me to see all the events of my life, and it's not a process at all. It's always now.
Even though from a perspective of the process, we are unveiling ourselves through all these tools that we were mentioning, through yoga, through acupuncture, through everything that we have as tools, in order to get rid of what is not letting us to shine, which is the traumas, the transgenerational, the limiting beliefs, and so on. So it is a process of polishing the crystal to see the light through it, no?
Yeah, well, the thing is that, okay, unveiling, polishing, yes, you can see it that way, but is there anything to unveil? If the ground of awareness is always here and now, is there anything to polish? See, from the point of view of Christian, from the point of view of the body mind of Christian, there is something to polish, to unveil, but from the point of view of the ground of awareness, there's nothing to polish and to unveil.
Because everything is part of it, is part of consciousness.
It's not near on your part, it is.
It is. But what I'm saying is that while we are doing this, we are discovering more how we will act or say or interact with people outside what is not mine. Because, for example, if I have a programming from my childhood about my family, that programming will make me behave different than how I would behave without.
Yeah.
So that is a mask.
Yes.
So this is why I was saying about the process. Even though the process itself is part of consciousness, or it is consciousness, or a fraction of it, but itself, when I'm doing this process, I am discovering more of a Bogdan than I was knowing before. Because it's a pure essence, because it doesn't belong to somebody else.
Yeah, but yes, but what allows you to discover Bogan?
What allows me?
Yeah. Because, okay, you say, okay, before I was like this, now I'm like that, or whatever. What allows you to discover that?
The free will?
Well, but what allows you to understand that Bogan is like this and Bogan is not anymore like this, blah, 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 it's awareness.
It's awareness, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's like what the wave has to do to the ocean.
You are always are.
That's why. That's right.
You are always are.
Yeah. So the whole trip is that to recognize that. See, the whole trip is to recognize that. And I go through whatever I have to go to recognize that.
Now, I would like to ground our discussion through your life experience.
Yes, okay.
Tell me how you can embody non-duality through asana.
What do you mean first by non-duality? Because after we go into it, which is quite interesting, but what do you mean by non-duality?
It's exactly what you are saying about the ocean and the wave, the understanding that you are part of the wave that is actually a structure of the full ocean.
Yes, all right. So understanding, in fact, non-duality is also expressed also in diversity. We understand that, okay? So you say, okay, you know how somewhere you explore that through the asanas.
Yes.
All right, okay. So first I will quote you a shloka which, from a book which has inspired me for years, the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. So he inspired me for years. So one should meditate on one's own body in the form of a vast sky. One should meditate on one's own body in the form of a vast sky, unlimited in all directions. So when consciousness has no more any support, it reveals itself as its own nature. So the thing that one should meditate on one's own body at a vast sky. So first, you see, with the asanas, you go first, you go back to feel the body. So you go back to the body of sensations. Because for most of us, we think the body. See, I've got an image of myself that the mirror is projecting me. This image of myself is a thought construct from the past into the future. This thought construct, it never agrees with my expectations. So that's why, with the asanas, you go back to a body, you shift from a thought body to a felt body. You feel the sensation. The sensation is always now. The sensation is always in the nowness. There is a beautiful prayer to the goddess in one goddess, salutation to the richness of touch, the wealth of touch. It's called Sparsha Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the wealth, the goddess of wealth. Sparsha is the touch. Because we know it, when you go back to the body as a sensation, you're always now. So that's the first, I would say, the first entry. Yeah? The first entry, the body of sensation. Then the sensation becomes vibration, spanda. And you entreat your body as the field of consciousness. So you use the asana to entreat that. The body is the field of consciousness, awareness. It appears, my body appears in awareness.
And why not staying, for example, in meditation? Why is not that sufficient?
What do you mean by meditation?
To go into a state where your body is in a position that can sustain itself into a balance or into a relaxed position, into going inside yourself where you are actually into the present moment, into perceiving yourself and the vast consciousness.
Well, literally that's the meaning of asana, to be seated in oneself. One of the etymology of asana is to be seated and to be seated in oneself. Why not? I mean, whatever. But the thing is that if you want to reach a state of consciousness, which is fine, which is great, it's still a state. So you can have a lot of state of consciousness, but a state of consciousness. So you are speaking of asana. So it's as you say, it's a tool, and you have this. You have those, I would say, those breach of space that you can intuit, like, okay, very simple, the space at the end of exhalation before inhalation. You see, in that in between, you have the spaciousness of awareness.
You're saying that this is you can embody the philosophy or what you cognitive understand into your body through these postures. And this is what I don't know, because I was not experiencing.
Well, it can be a tool to once again to understand that the body is the field of awareness. That's it.
But everything is a field of awareness.
Everything is the field of the awareness. Everything. This is all the field of awareness. And the thing is, you really integrate that this form, because we don't otherwise. Because I'm so identified with my drama that this makeup, I do think that's my reality. So you can intuit that this is the field of awareness through exploring the sensation of the body, if it's your trip.
So how did it evolve for you? During 52 years, how did it evolve for you to feel and to understand and to follow your body?
Well, the thing is that whether it's 52 years, 10,000 years, 1 month, time has nothing to do with it. Because you always end where you started. See, the thing we see time in a very linear way. I think there is enough much change from when I started and now. It's just my perception of time.
So, in your perception, nothing changed?
Everything has changed. Everything changed. But what allows the change doesn't change at all. See, what's the common ground? See, of all my experiences, all the changing of experience and situation, it's something that doesn't change at all, which is always there.
But you can be more or less in touch with it.
Yeah, whether you are more or less in touch with it, how do you know that?
Because of the magnitude of the impact that you're feeling?
I see. Yeah, it's true. But once again, how do you feel that? Why you feel that? Because you can have different state of consciousness. You can have expansion of consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah, you can have wonderful expression of consciousness. But still, how is still an experience of consciousness. See, the thing is that it's like your mouth. When you eat, your mouth, you feel something which is sweet. You see something which is bitter, something which is acid. What is the taste of your mouth?
it's your reference point.
Yeah, but you know, your mouth is tasted somewhere. You can't taste your mouth.
Yeah.
But though you can't taste your mouth, you can taste everything. It's like in the Upanishads, what allow the eyes to see, but the eyes cannot see.
Cannot say itself. Yeah.
What the ears can hear, but the ear can't hear. I see there's a beautiful Upanishad. It's the Keno Upanishad. So at the beginning, and as the yogis were speaking, he said the mind doesn't go there. The mind, the speech doesn't go there. You know, that's the absolute consciousness. They say we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is, and we don't know how to teach it. It's beautiful. See the mind, the speech. See our means of knowledge can't understand the mystery of consciousness. Can't. And so not only they say in that Upanishad, we don't understand this absolute, this consciousness Brahma. We don't know how to share it, teach it. We don't. But anyway, you can say, okay, you have tools to, you have reminders. Reminders, you have a reminder of something which cannot be forgotten. Which is in a way a paradox, but well.
So, as your experience,
Yes.
it happened that you found love?
Love.
Because you started your quest into finding love and belonging.
Yeah, love.
Did you find that inside yourself?
I still don't love myself. I still somewhere, I've not understood that, you see, this amazing makeup, I've not still fully understood that this makeup, this Christian, is the expression of the love of consciousness for itself. You see, I've not understood that. Do my statement, I still don't love myself. And since I don't love myself,
Are you a hard critic on yourself?
I don't think it's critic. It's just the feeling that you are not enough. That's it. But you see, of course, the self. It depends what you mean by the self. You know, because the ground of awareness, the ground of consciousness, is this open space, which is beyond space and time, which is somewhere love. Okay, that's our nature is that. But you see, the thing is that I'm speaking about Christian. I see. I'm speaking about a character. I'm speaking a character like in a novel, you know, which has a script. You see? Do you understand what I speak? This character, this script, as Christian, feel that is not enough.
But he is worthy of love.
Everyone is worthy of love. That's everyone. That's the point. Not only everyone is worthy of love, but we are that love. See, that's our. I would say that's our deep feeling to be loved, to love. Because sometimes of our education, what you receive, sometimes we do think that we are not worthy of love. And then we have to do so many things to be loved. And you see, sometimes the spiritual trip is that trip. Because the way I am is not good enough, so I have to do all kind of gymnastic to at one point to be loved, which is very tiring. It's very tiring to be in a pure state. That's something, you know, something that nobody can give me unless I recognize in myself. To have somewhere I say, and I think the first expression of it is this the radical acceptance of my process as Christian in all its limitation, in all its light, but especially in all its darkness.
exactly this is what I wanted to ask you. Is not only the acceptance of light, and when we don't find sufficient love or sufficient acceptance, we say that we are not enough. But without that darkness, piece of darkness, or without, we will not have duality, and we will not be able to perceive what love means, because this is the duality through which we perceive in contrast, light with darkness.
But it's just light and darkness, and I do think that at one point, that's why they speak about the dark night of the soul. You have this emergence of darkness, and like embracing the cactus, you see that light and darkness is just an expression of consciousness. Yeah, and whereas there's a beautiful story in the Puranas when they say, the Devas and the Asuras, see the god and the demons. They lost the nectar of immortalities. You have to read between the lines. Anyway, to make the story short, that is, Vishnu tell them, okay, churn the ocean, and maybe you are going to find the nectar of immortality. So they think that the iron did have to get together, light and darkness, to churn. I know when they churn, the first thing that comes up is the poison. The churning, first thing. Because the story says Shiva comes and drinks the poison because for him the poison is the remedy. But anyway, see, at the center of my life there is a churning between light and darkness. And sometimes when you are, once again, I don't like the expression, I don't like it in a spiritual exploration, because I do think we are all on the same trip. Whether, so if you have in this spiritual exploration, at one point there is this emergence of that, what we call the poisons, in many forms. Like for me, a few years ago, in fact 5 years, I was diagnosed with a cancer. And I tell you, it was quite a blow. And for me, it expressed itself in the last few years with a lot of darkness, a lot of chaos, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. That's part of my process. And even though sometimes I was completely rejecting the process, cursing the process, it's part of it.
What doesn't destroy us make us better.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, you can say, yeah.
It is also this saying that we cannot evolve in balance.
You cannot evolve?
In balance, being in balance.
Yeah.
You need to create unbalance in order to...
Yeah, I mean, life is going to put you in a situation where you're always somewhere in crisis. See, I think balance is okay, it's fine, but it's more for the yoga magazine, you know what I mean? Where you see you see all these people who are beautiful life, beautiful relationship, beautiful profession, everything is fine, the fridge is full, and they say that you have this kind of, I would say, spiritual materialism, where you look for, which is fine, we look for harmony and balance, which is fine, but life will be in my case, I don't know, but in touch with your utter vulnerability, where you don't know anymore. Where all my spiritual concepts are going to be swept away. And there is this raw vulnerability. That's our basic sharing, you see what I mean? We all share that vulnerability.
But it is not the embodiment itself. When you embody something that you say or understand, is not that the point where something cannot be erased from your life?
Everything is going to be swept away.
At
Everything.
one point, at the end, yes.
Yeah, that's
at the
it.
end, yes.
See, my narrative is that consciousness is not an effect of the brain. See, that consciousness is there and will be always there. That's my narrative. So when everything is swept away, what remains is consciousness. And all this is an appearance of consciousness in a space and time. And appearance in consciousness that somewhere there's a need to this appearance to recognize that the ground is consciousness.
But Christian will return, we will reincarnate?
Well, that's a good question, I don't know. But I do think that we have been playing many roles. We have many roles. We have been playing many dramas since the beginning of time. Yeah. So I don't think our consciousness expresses itself in billions of characters, and that's just a character. No? You see that when you say that there's the thing, because we have this very scary feeling of not being. So is there gonna something left about me? Left at all?
We were starting with identity.
Yeah, that's right. Is there something left at all about me? You know? That's the scary shit.
We were starting this point into describing non-duality, into discussing what we understand about it. But what you're saying now at this age is that you become mature in the moment when you deconstruct what you have learned.
Yeah, that's on a practical way. Huh? You want to speak the practical way in what I explore in my art.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, all right. All right. So, okay, you spend years learning, learning techniques and practicing them and see what to do, what not to do, and you have all this, and this is what I call the way of the technique. I'm speaking just on a practical way. Huh? Mm-hmm. And knowing that before going into that the whole life is a process of deconstructing. See, because the way you feel now as Bogdan now is very different than when you were 15, isn't it? So there was a kind of deconstructing about the idea that you were. But anyway, to go back to that, so I'm going to speak just in a practical way. Let's make it clear about that. Huh? Like, okay, when you practice whatever, karate, aikido, tai chi, whatever, or even, when you have a craft, painting, or... So I call that the way of the technique, and you need at least 20 years. 15 to 20 years to just learn the technique according to affiliation. According to affiliation, you have to be fully immersed in the affiliation, which takes a lot of time, a lot of also, I want to say, you have to be obsessed and pretty dysfunctional. You have to be dysfunctional to spend 20 years on repeating the same exercise day after day.
If that brings joy?
If it does, yes. But still. But to go into it, it's like an actor, to go deep in, once again, you have to be obsessed with the thing. And you have to practice every day, hours and hours, just to learn the technique, to be free from the technique. Then you learn the technique to be free like this, you become a channel, a channel to then in my heart you have to be the different asana, the different group of the poses, the interaction between the poses, the sequencing of the poses. It takes a long time. The sequencing of the poses, but some poses are how you order them. They call that in Sanskrit the vinyasa. You have a codification of the pose according to the gesture and the breath. I say, according to your affiliation. Then you have the sequencing. because according to the sequencing, the poses, they change, their coloration and the content of the mind. So you have to spend, once again, a lot of years and be completely mad about it. And then you see at the end, so that's the way of the technique. Then you have the way of intuition. You see that the technique somewhere, you can practice it for 10,000 years. Technique is technique. There's no soul.
But it's needed.
You need it if you do it. If you don't do it, you don't need it. Like you told me you just practice meditation. You don't practice asana. Yeah? Because you don't need it. It's as simple as that.
Maybe I need it and I don't know.
No. Otherwise, it would be otherwise. No. Experience is the fact.
The experience is the fact.
Yeah, of course. You don't do it because you don't need it. In my case, I needed it to understand that somewhere I don't need it. So to go back to the deconstructing, so then you have the process of unlearning. It takes a long time to find your own language. Because for many years you are somewhere hypnotized by the language of your teacher. It's a very, I would say, very strong, sometimes oppressive, which is nice, a very strong presence of the teacher, the guru, And then you have to, so you unlearn you have to unlearn it to find your own language.
So it becomes presence over performance.
Absolutely. Over performance, because performance is always as I said before, performance, competition, violence.
Based on technique.
Absolutely, yes. Because you want to go to a more and more, I would say, skillful writer's technique. And then, as you said, you get more the emphasis on feeling the body, the sensations. So you have also this unlearning, which takes a long time to find your own language and to find your own, I would say, your own communications in yourself through the art that you have been practicing.
So when you do that, that is the state of flow.
Yeah, you understand more and more the flow, which was always there.
Yes.
The flow, you understand more and more the flow, yes.
And now what is that flow? That is pure expression?
Well, the flow is always the flow of awareness.
The flow of awareness.
The flow of awareness, yes. Which expresses itself in your, what you can call in the creativity in your art, whatever the art is.
And then how the flow differentiates from channeling?
What do you mean by channeling?
It's when you connect to a higher source, even if it's another entity or another realm or whatever, and you can download through your art, through your flow, some sort of creation, no?
Yeah, well, so you have to be more and more an empty vessel for that.
So to be driven.
Not to be driven, but to be more and more an empty vessel, which is, well, in what I do, is just that, at one point the technique comes out of you, but it's more the technique from the situations. See? It's a living technique, a living pedagogy, which comes from the situation, and you say, okay, it comes through you. It's not you.
But you can channel your own soul?
Well, I mean, you're always a channel for awareness, isn't it?
Yes, this is what I'm asking. So the channeling your own soul, it's actually the state of flow?
No, it's not you. The soul is channeling you.
The soul is channeling you, correct.
So you're not, the soul, what you call it, the consciousness is channeling you. And then you can be more aware of that, well, more aware. You can be more intuitive that you are a channel. Which anyway is the case for anyone. But you can see that in some artists who just, like, okay, they have state of grace. artists, musicians, actors, or a kind of state of grace, which isn't. It's not there anymore. It's not them anymore. It's something else.
And it's what?
It's the mystery of consciousness. The mystery of consciousness, who somewhere express itself in someone who plays perfectly the character he has to play at that moment.
So it is not improving our body, improving to be able to be more fully in a state of flow.
Well, you can play that game if you want. If you want to be, you can improve. Obviously you can improve your body mind. You can, like, okay, if you eat well, if you have a good way of life, you can improve that. But you see, the thing is that you always go back to the what allow me to perceive me as a body, the body mind, is awareness, consciousness. That this cannot be improved.
Cannot be improved.
The ground of awareness cannot be improved. Because
but your transmission can be.
Transmission, okay, yeah, of course the transmission. What do you mean by transmission? Like, okay, when you like in a heart, you transmit your heart to someone else. That's what you call transmission.
Manifestation.
Whatever you put it, whatever appear, manifestation, it always appear in awareness and consciousness.
Yes, that is clear.
After, of course, well, you could say that someone express more this than another one. Maybe you could say that, but I don't believe that, because I do think that everyone is playing the game they have to play at that moment in a perfect way.
Okay, if we are doing that in every single moment, then what is alignment?
Alignment, okay.
I was writing a theory about synchronicity. And synchronicities, in my opinion, it's once you are aligning more and more with your true self, or with your soul. Which means, as we were saying at the beginning of our discussion, to be more you, to be more outside of what you adopted from the environment into collecting stuff that are not yours. And you arrive at one point to deconstruct, as you were saying. So aligning more and more with yourself makes you to align with your individual consciousness, but that also implies that aligns you with a universal consciousness. And this is why, for example, you find your path in life. You find your mission, like for a period of time or for your whole life. And it's how you dedicate your life towards something. So this is why I consider with alignment. And then according to this, you will attract more synchronicities, which is a proof of alignment, because you are where you need to be, doing what you need to do, meeting who you need to meet.
Yes, absolutely. But don't you think that's all what we do anyway? It's just a question of space, and it's just a question of time. It's not that we are all doing that. In one way or the other.
But that means that we cannot improve that, which I don't consider.
The guy who is in a bar, getting drunk.
Okay.
Or the guy who is somewhere in a monastery meditating. Is there a difference? Is there a difference in a way? Of course, there is a difference on the level of the body mind of these people. But somewhere they are searching for their alignment. You see, the guy which is getting drunk, or which is somewhere searching a kind of alignment.
Okay. So you go back to the purpose of it, why that person is doing what he's doing.
And I do think that anyway, we cannot be not aligned with awareness consciousness. We can't.
It's not with awareness and consciousness, it's to be aligned with yourself more.
The thing, I really understand what you mean. That after, yes, your body mind can express this more or less that. That, okay, you can feel that some people are expressing more the expansion of consciousness through the way they are, the way they speak, the way they behave. because they are more inclusive, they are more open, they are more loving, etc.,
Okay.
etc.
Okay.
They can, and it's true. But the thing is that you see, when you say that, there will maybe there is maybe an hidden strategy to somewhere, change this body mind to be more in tune with that. And anyway, I do think that every living being go through that process to be at one point the channel of consciousness, which they already are.
But you can influence the process, because otherwise you don't have free will.
Yeah, the body mind, you can influence the process. Yeah, you can. It's like, okay, you can. But who is knowing that you're influencing the process? See, the process, first, I don't control the process. But this
is coming to the contradiction that we are projecting reality.
And you see, the thing is that when I say that to you, I've not yet digested fully that. I still have the idea that Christians control the process. So first, I don't control the process because the process is too big for me. It's too huge. As a matter of fact, Christian is the effect of spontaneous processes in me on the organic process. The breath, the liver, the heart, the brain, the kidneys. If I had to control that, I wouldn't survive 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then there is all what's outside of me. So I can't control it. But there is this kind of megalomaniac feeling that Christians controlling the process. And then also the process that doesn't define me. I still have not fully understood that my process doesn't define me. And what allowed me to improve the process is consciousness, which is not a process. And after I can do whatever I want. Yeah, I can, I don't know if you want to improve. You can do whatever you want. You can practice yoga. You can practice whatever you want to do. You can get up in the morning, take a cold shower. You know what I mean? You can improve the process. You can. But what allow me to improve or not the process, which is once again concept of my mind, is not a process at all. It can't be. I think the reconciliation with the process, first, I don't control it. I mean, do you have the feeling that you control your process? I'm not just asking you.
Yeah. Consciously, I cannot control the process, but I think that the process, it is aligned with, because otherwise, in the idea that we are projecting as consciousness, we are projecting our own reality. That means that our individual consciousness is projecting exactly what we need in our story.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So the process, it's aligned with my individual consciousness, and I am influencing it consciously if I'm aligning to it or going against it.
Yeah, whether you go with it or against it, it's part of the process. It's part of the process of consciousness. Now you go through it to understand that you're not the process. Whether you go smooth with it, or whether you go completely against it, it's the game that you play as a character. And the last few years, I was completely going against the process, completely cursing myself, cursing everybody. That's what I needed somewhere.
And what that offered you?
In the end, nothing.
Nothing?
When there's something to offer, it's also still the thing that something is lacking in me. And if something offers something to me, at one point it's going to be taken away. So of course I could say
this is not a limiting belief.
Every belief is limiting. Every belief. As soon as I believe something, I limit reality. Yeah. But of course, I could go into the narrative which is true for some people. The narrative, okay, the resilience when you go through, a very dark period, you have the resilience, you have at the end more understanding, more love, more compassion, which can be true. You see, it can be true. In my case, no.
Exactly at this topic, I know that you value the cracks because through them light can shine.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, there's a definition of the shaman. They say that there are wounded healers that use their wound for the empathy for other people.
Why the cracks are important?
Well, I don't know if they are important. They are coming because, okay, they know that, I create a personage of myself which is based on preconceived idea, which is based on the past, which is based projection in the future. The cracks are going to come because as we said, I just said, I've got a certain reality of a certain idea of how the reality should be. So it should be like that. It should be like, and then of course life will gonna put me in a situation where it's not like that at all. And through the emotions, I'm gonna feel some very strong emotion, love, hate, and that's why we are so afraid of emotions. It's gonna rock my boat deeply. And as far as I'm concerned, nobody never taught me how to listen to my emotions. So we have all this kind of, how you say that, armor around ourselves, defensive walls. How long they can stay, And when you have those breaks, you touch vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, first there is the feeling that one doesn't know, but there's also a lot of strength, which is not the strength based on my personal image.
While you accept vulnerability and you know that is yours,
Yeah,
it becomes a strength?
absolutely. Yeah. And it's not the strength coming from me, it's something else that was always there. That's what was there, who make me inhale, who make me exhale, who make me breathe, who make me feel, who make me perceive, who make me speak to you, you know what I mean? Or somewhere make me feel you,
A person
yeah.
that is encountering many, many, many challenges,
Yes.
and life slaps him so hard, that is a blessed person?
I don't know.
Because the cracks, this is what you are saying following.
Yeah.
That if you have more cracks.
I don't really believe in redemption through suffering, but you see, sometimes a not easy life can be quite amazing awakenings. But the thing is that you see, when you go through a really tough time, first you understand that the impermanency of life and the impermanency of life, and that everything can change so quick. So it shifts your vision of the world.
And the vision...
And it makes you, I would say, more aware about the essential, what is essential in my life. What is essential, what I give priority to.
These are always changing.
Yeah, the priority changes, but you see, the thing is, they changes. When the priority change, you see that at one point, the priority of when I was 20, it's not really important now. But there is one priority and that doesn't change.
To keep on living?
Yeah, it's more keep on living. It's more than that. The essential is that, okay, the essential is the connection with myself and with the others. The essential is to know what I give importance to, which once again I've not really fully integrated in my life. The way I live with my partner. See, the way I see that's the, I would say, the ordinariness of my life. There's an essentiality in that.
It was that saying that you don't find enlightenment on the peak of a mountain, you find it while washing your dishes.
Yes.
Yeah, the ordinary.
Ordinary.
Day-to-day life, how you behave.
Yes, that's where you are going to meet yourself, in the day-to-day life. And sometimes not in a pleasing way.
Let's go from here to desire.
All right, desire. Yeah.
How do you see desire? Because desire makes us move through life. And there are two poles. Either to let completely of all desires, either to go completely on desire.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm going to quote you from a text, a Tantra. So Shiva, when they say Shiva is consciousness, he said, from my own desire, I dress up myself in a limited form, was the thirst to experience. So from my own desire, I dress up myself in a limited form, where the thirst to experiencing. So I think the energy of desire is very important. In Sanskrit, it's called Ichha Shakti. So it's the intention, the desire. And then this desire expresses itself in thousands of desires. And you say there's, two schools, and one school is okay, because, of course, the desire, the thing is that with desire, you could feel that you could feel, because that's the beauty of desire. At the end of the desire, okay, I want an ice cream. I eat the ice cream. At the end, there's a kind of, peacefulness. See, when I satisfy the desire, at one point I understand that I'm full. There's a kind of fullness which lasts for a split of a second. The problem is that I do think that my happiness in the object of desire. And then I shift from one object of desire for the others. It's endless. So one school says, okay, suppress all the desires. You renounce the word. It's not my cup of tea. I do think the energy of desire is very important, expressing itself in all the desire that we are encounter, understanding that all these desires are the expression of one desire for fullness.
Yeah, we come back to being whole again.
Yeah, there's a beautiful story about, it's in the Upanishad, and you have this rishi, it's called Gyanavalkya, he has two wives. And so he's towards, he's quite old, he called his two wives, and he said, listen, I'm going to retire, that's it for me, have enough, share my wealth and be happy. Yeah? One was okay with that. The other one, it's a very, very famous dialogue. One was called Maitreyi, and she said, okay, all right, you say, okay, but is your wealth that you are giving me first, is it gonna make me happy? And so he said to her, you are going to be comfortable, but it's not going to make you happy. And she further says, is that going to make me immortal? No, you're going to die. So you have this beautiful, and he said, the wife doesn't love the husband, but for the self. The husband doesn't love the wife, or for the self. The parents, they don't love the children, for the self. So this is all for the self. So he said that that's the new priority should be investigated. So whatever we do for the love of the self, the consciousness. So all this desire, I don't know about you, but in my case, all the desire in my life, which express itself in different situations, as this deep longing, this nostalgia of fulfillment, which has never been satisfied, whatever in situation I was creating out of my desire never satisfied me, never. And I doubt there's a satisfaction which will satisfy me. So I think to answer a bit more deeper, see, the exploration of the energy of desire is very important. See, that whatever I see in my life is the expression of my own desires, which is the desire of the desire of the I would say the impulse of this longing.
But to put it now in our reality, in a world full of attraction,
yes,
full of materialism,
yeah,
where plenty of desires arise, how to navigate?
I'm sorry, I don't have any answer. We are going to get lost. That's what we are here for. Because okay, you know what? I mean, whatever I'm going to say, I don't know if it's going to somewhere. You know, you want us to go through the process. The process is that to completely get lost in what we call the samsara. You know, and sometimes it can be very dramatic. And the navigation, because okay, you are going to go through this, you are going to go through that. It's not enough. This is not enough. This is not what I want. That's the navigation of itself. Now, if I say to somebody, okay, how to navigate, first it's my idea of navigation.
But that doesn't resolve a practical thing.
Exactly. It doesn't resolve it at all. So I see that, in fact, it's why in the text, the way start by like that. But the thing, the fundamental principle, you are awareness, you are consciousness. But as you said, it doesn't, you know, and sometimes I'm not even ready to listen to that. Because of space and time. I'm not ready to, so I will navigate into my samsara. I'm going to get completely lost. I'm going to freak out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, sorry, the expression. I'm going to fuck up. Sorry for the expression.
So we arrive to the hero journey.
Yeah.
Which is, in the end, the reflection of what we do here.
Yes.
And you wrote a book about this.
So I'm going to use a bit of Sanskrit and just a little bit. So in the Sanskrit, hero is called Vira. Vira, which is not the warrior. It's very different than the spiritual warrior. There's nothing to do with a spiritual warrior. As a matter of fact, you see, I'm going to go a bit. A Shakta is the one who worships the Absolute as the goddess, the Shakti. So he comes to worship her, and she gives them 4 instructions. The first, she says, rise up. Uttishtata, rise up. So which means, okay, whatever you go through, it's fine. You don't have to be a victim. The second one, she said, Jagrat, wake up. Wake up because you are sleeping. And it's true, I'm completely asleep through the drama of my personal history. The third one, she said, Virabhava, Vira, which is have the heroic attitude, which is the heroic attitude. I use whatever comes from my life to remind me that I'm consciousness awareness. Whatever. So that's the hero attitude. See, the deep vulnerability that I use whatever comes into my whatever in my existential theater at that point in time, whatever comes, whether I like it or not, whatever comes, I use it as a reminder. I remind myself as the ground of awareness. That's the heroic attitude.
Is the acceptance of what is.
Yes, but you see, the final acceptance is to accept that sometimes I can't accept. Because that's also the what is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I can't accept. So I accept that I can't accept. Because you see, the thing is that the acceptance of what is, it can be also, I would say, a spiritual bypass. So the acceptance, if we go further in the acceptance of what is, the what is that sometimes I can't accept. So I accept that I can't accept, because it's too much for me. I reach my limitation, whatever, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you said, there's a beautiful story of Marpa. Marpa was a Tibetan master, as you know. He was, and Milarepa was one of his students. Anyway, Marpa has one son. He was very attached to his son. And one day his son dies. And the guy is in tears, is broke down. And one of his disciples comes and say to him, "Yeah, Master, you always told us that death is an illusion. Death is an illusion. So where you are in that state, if death is an illusion," he says, "It's true. Death is an illusion, but the death of my son is a mega illusion." You see, the guy is in contact with what is. He accepts that he can't accept. And that's the heroic attitude. Which the touch with vulnerability, whatever comes to you can be a reminder of the ground of awareness. It's not like this new age notion, who somewhere you're gonna, I don't know, you're gonna be more or less this, or you are gonna go to, as they say, a better version of myself.
From a psychological point of view, it is how do you meet life? How do you encounter life? Because none of the events are having a polarity.
Yes.
So keeping in mind that they don't have a polarity, you give a polarity.
That's right, yes.
Then through this hero perspective that you are saying, you are always choosing the positive polarity, even though it's unpleasant.
Yeah, the thing is that maybe you can't, and it's fine. I'm sorry, sometimes.
This is fine.
Yeah, if you can't, it's fine. Because see, the understanding is never forced. Life never forced understanding. If at that point in space and time I can't understand it, it's okay, I can't. And I will have to go through the drama I have to go through. And the situation will represent itself in another space, in another time, with other situations.
And it's still the hero position?
The hero position, I don't like this thing because it's like a kind of strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A strategy which is not a strategy. You see, the hero vision. The hero vision, which is against, which is maybe because people, the listeners will say, "Well, how I'm going to get these hero visions?" You see what I mean? What I have to go. No, the thing is that the trip itself is the hero, is the heroic trip, which is somewhere, whatever it takes, you are going to somewhere get in touch with that heroic nature of yourself, which you are going to use, whatever you are going to use, to somewhere to remind you as a ground of awareness. And if you can't do it, doesn't matter. Because it says it's not something that you want to achieve. It's more get in touch with your feeling at that point in time, which means feeling whatever I feel in that moment. And sometimes I can't. I can't feel all the anger which is in me. I can't, because of the psychological education, whatever. I can't feel all the hate I have in me. I can't. So and at one point, I will feel that more and more space to the whatever comes through me. But I can't see. I've got some values, so I will approach life according to my values, which is fine. And at one point, I will understand that it's just value who help me to navigate in society. It's just values.
But they are important, nevertheless.
And they are very important. Yeah, they are very important, of course. And they're important because, okay, you just, according to your value, you are going to live your life. According to your value, you are going to educate your children. Well, and then, but okay, some way you understand. But some people, they don't, but some way you understand it's just values.
For somebody that is looking at us,
For someone
who is looking at us now,
yeah,
and arrived in this point in conversation,
yes.
and is asking himself, okay, what do I take out of all of this? How I can make my life better?
Well, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm sorry, but I'm the wrong person to ask. Because my personal life, I'm going to be frank with you, huh? My personal life is a battlefield. My personal life is a mess. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry for the listeners. And I mean, let's face it, there's so many people who are going to give you 1,000 recipes to have a better life. It never works.
Because it's not yours.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very easy to coach other people's life.
And actually impossible, because what we were saying, that each one is having its own truth and its own experience of life.
And they have to go what they have to go through. And of course, if they get inspired by this one or that one, fine. But to answer your question, and that can be very blunt. The life they have, it's already the life they should have. You see, that's also, I'm very careful to say that, because that could be also a spiritual bypass.
Mm.
Now, you can't say people who are living in Gaza, say the life you have in Gaza, that's the life you should have. No, that's not, that could be, it's a terrible statement.
And yet it's true.
And yet it's true. But I don't live in Gaza. You see? But yet it's true. On one level it's true.
Because otherwise will not be.
Yeah, exactly, yes. But and once again, it's something that I've not really fully digested. The life I have as it is the life I need. Is the opportunity I need to recognize myself as awareness, to recognize myself through the game I'm playing. Yeah. But you see, when I knew that I have this cancer, and that I was going to the whole, the treatment, chemotherapy, all that stuff, forget about it, man. If you would have said to me, well, that is the opportunity to recognize yourself as I would say, please shut up. I don't want to hear it.
Is exactly what you said earlier, to accept that at one point I can't.
Exactly.
So, Christian.
Yes.
At this moment in your life, what is the one message that you want the world to hear from you?
They say the message are for the postman. That's their work. I don't have any messages.
Something that you would like to transmit?
Just this moment of silence.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to have invited me and to share this mystery that we can never understand, the mystery of consciousness, awareness. And thank you so much.
It was a great.
Thanks.
As for the rest of you, I hope you like today's podcast. Let's continue the conversation below, seeing your comments. Like and share this with a friend that could benefit this information. And until next time, take care of yourself.